Hey guys, today we are going to talk about how to disrupt a established industry that already has large players. In the startup lingo, we generally call this unbundling, and we are going to see in more detail of how this really works. So, assuming you are looking to enter the hyperlocal information market, and there is already a large player like Just Dial in India or Yelp in the US. Now, to compete with Just Dial, you don't actually create a nationwide yellow pages system on the internet. What you do is pick up one category. Say Zomato picked up the restaurants category and then go one level deep. So if Just Dial was only providing, say, phone numbers and addresses of restaurants, what Zomato did is they started adding menus of those restaurants on their own website. Now, for this particular industry, that is the restaurant industry, Zomato is a little more valuable than Just Dial. Now, at this stage, imagine Zomato is just 1 year old and present in only one city, that is, say, Gurgaon. At this stage, Just Dial is not even going to notice because restaurants category of Gurgaon is probably less than 0.1% of the total traffic of Just Dial. So, Zomato will go unnoticed. But the word will start spreading amongst the users of Gurgaon saying, if you are going to go to a restaurant and, you want to see the menu or, you need a little more information, maybe see some photographs, etc., you should rather go to Zomato than going to Just Dial. Now, this is the moment where Zomato has made their mark. And from here on, the way to grow is either you expand in more geographies or you expand maybe in more services. So if you were doing only photos and menu, you may add reviews, maybe export reviews. And the third way could be, giving one more layer where you say, okay, you can also order the food or book your table. So now from just having phone numbers of, thousands of different kinds of businesses, Zomato has gone one level deep in the restaurant industry and said, we offer more than just phone numbers. This whole way of disrupting is called unbundling. So you could unbundle either based on a category, like, Zomato picked up restaurant as a category. You could unbundle based on geography. So say Just Dial works for the whole of India, Zomato is going to concentrate only on the top 5 cities or to start with just one city. You could also unbundle based on device, right? So certain products, say back in 2012-13 worked for desktops and they worked very well. You could say, I am only going to concentrate on people with mobile phones, or I'm going to only concentrate on people with iOS phones, right? That is, if you can add more value, that is a great way to unbundle. And depending on, again, what you are building, the unbundling could be of different types. Unbundling could also be based on, say, the target audience's persona, right? So I say Facebook is a large social network and it covers everybody from 13-year-old to 90-year-old. I'm going to create a new kind of social network which is only focused on a certain age group or people with a certain educational qualification or, any such division on the user's front. Now, when you choose something to unbundle, some feature or some parameters to unbundle, always think of whether you are going to be able to add more value or not. So when Zomato thought of unbundling Just Dial and building for the restaurant industry, Zomato already knew how they will add more value to it. The other reason for unbundling could actually be that, obviously your resources are limited, so you can only start small. So let's take another example of Flipkart. Now, Flipkart, when they started around 2007-8, there were already established players like India Plaza and India Time Shopping and eBay in India, and at that time it looked like, okay, e-commerce is happening, right? And there are some orders that are happening. But Flipkart figured out that there is a gap in the market. They almost, from what I understand, they knew that they are going to make a large horizontal e-commerce player, similar to how Amazon is in the US, but they had to start somewhere. So they started with books. So that's one category that they unbundled. Now, in this case, the value add may not be as much as the scale of the category, right? Now, books is a large enough category and it is a great way to train your system to be able to do large number of orders in future. So, say if it was not books and it was, say, televisions, right? Now you would think that televisions are high value purchases and, even if they get one order, they'll save few thousand rupees. So it's a great thing to do as a startup. But if you're trying to really create like this, the largest courier company in India, the largest warehousing company in India, which actually Flipkart is in some ways, in that case, you would need a category that is large enough. Secondly, books helps you make more mistake because it is a low value purchase or a low engagement purchase. So if a 150 rupee book goes missing, you only lose 150 rupees. But if you're trying to train your logistic system and a 50,000 rupees TV goes missing or it breaks on the way, that's a very costly, training to do. So again, when you are picking to what to unbundle, you have to look for these characteristics of can you add value and is it something scalable. I'll give you another example. Back in 2012, I was building a price comparison engine. So what we did is we picked up prices of different products from various e-commerce sites, showed it on a single page, so that if the same product is available on Flipkart, Amazon, Snapdeal, Paytm, you could just see it on one page and decide where you want to go to buy. Assuming you've already decided what you want to buy. So in this case, if we started say with mobile phones. Now mobile phones was a category that was decent in value. I mean, typical purchases are about 12,000 to 15,000 rupees. The volume is very, very high. And almost everyone who purchases things online, they bought their mobile phone online. So that's a great starting point. Had we started from say laptops, which is probably higher in value, but the frequency wouldn't have been much. So trying to train somebody, trying to train our systems to do a low frequency but higher value thing doesn't really work in the internet world. So you should almost always be looking at a high volume thing. Again, going back to the Zomato example, I'm going to do Zomato, but I'm going to do in a tier 3 town, let's say a small town in Uttar Pradesh. Now your frequency is going to be so low that you may not be able to experiment enough, right? Versus say Gurgaon or a Bangalore or Bombay, where the frequency has to be enough. What we actually term this as is demand density. So if I'm going to offer it for Gurgaon, is there enough demand in Gurgaon for such a service? If I'm going to offer books in India, is there demand for enough books in India? If I'm going to do mobile phones price comparison on the internet, is there demand for mobile phones? If you do not have enough demand for that category, it is going to fail because there's not enough training set. So when we talk about unbundling, this can be applied to businesses in general. You don't need to really be an internet business to apply this theory. Even if you are say opening a new confectionery shop in a neighborhood that has few confectionery shops already, what you have to do is be good at one product, right? So your locality is defined, maybe your price range is defined. If you can be good at just one product, it becomes easier to grow from there. Or you're trying to do a large manufacturing company, right? Say you're going to manufacture shirts. You have to start from say one type of shirt, and then if that type becomes successful, you can start building on top of it. Now this theory can be applied to influencers also. Now there are certain categories, say fintech influencers, right, or generally personal finance influencers, let's say, and there are people on Instagram with lakhs of followers. Now what happens is, by the time you've crossed a certain threshold, say on Instagram in India, I would generally put that threshold at 10,000. To appeal to a larger audience, you start talking very generic stuff. So if I am a new personal finance guy trying to become an influencer on Instagram, I would look at a smaller audience, maybe by age group or maybe by education, by their maturity in personal finance, and then start building out my audience from there. This will again help me become very good at serving one audience, and then scaling from there becomes very easy. Hope you like this, and let me know in the description below. Thank you.